So that was an initiative by Taking It Global, an extraordinary Toronto-based organization. Do you know about Taking It Global? It was founded by one of my mentors. His name is Michael Furtick. I met him when he was 13, when he was the project manager on my website about 15 years ago. And they made him the project manager because he was the oldest and most experienced on the team. When Michael was 15, he sold his own site for an undisclosed 7 or 8 figure sum. One of the news reports said it was probably only $1 million, a big article in the Globe. And I said to him, Michael, you sold it for $1 million. You should have told me. And he says, look at Don, legally I can't tell you how much I sold it for, but I can tell you I'm very happy. And he didn't want the money to buy a Ferrari, although he bought a cheap little car, but his mom had to drive around with him because he only had his learner's permit. He wanted the money to invest in his next new initiative, which is Taking It Global. So these are extraordinary initiatives that embrace the internet. This is 4,000 young people, by the way, Taking It Global. 4,000 young people who want to change the world on a global network. It's based right here in Toronto. Just one more. I'd like to say something about the transportation system. Okay, so I have a little assignment, a mental assignment for all of you. You've landed on a planet similar to Earth 100 years ago, and your assignment is to design the transportation system for this planet. Okay, here are your design criteria. Use as much energy as you possibly can. Put as many toxins into the air as you possibly can. Use up as much arable land of the planet as you possibly can. Kill and maim as many people as you possibly can. Hint, make every pilot an amateur. Pit people against each other. Build obsolescence into the system so that you need to replace the thing every 3 or 4 years. What would you come up with? Well, the internal combustion engine automobile. Now, this is not going to go away, but we can move beyond this, and the internet holds us great hope and potential. I don't know if any of you have been to Bordeaux, but every city in the world should have a mass transit system like Bordeaux. I mean, you move around in these beautiful first-class vehicles that show up exactly on time. There are no cars, pretty much, in the whole downtown. And it's safe, nobody gets killed, it's energy efficient, it doesn't dump toxins into the air, it doesn't pit people against each other, and it's truly a wonderful transportation system. The only thing that separates most cities in the world from this is will and vision. Now, how about the automobile itself? Well, the model of GM failed. There's a story in the book about this guy named Jay Rogers. He's an Iraq vet, and he watched his friends being killed in Iraq. And he decided that the reason that we're in Iraq is to defend America's energy resources, as he described it, that mainly go into a sclerotic automobile industry that has been unable to produce energy-efficient, safe cars, an industry that's externalized its costs onto society for a century. So he builds a new kind of automobile and a new kind of company, and he uses the internet to do that. He has 5,000 designers, but they're out on the web. They're not inside his boundaries. He doesn't have a 3 million square foot manufacturing plant. He's got 30 plants and 30 local geographies, hiring local people to build cars for local marketplaces, and these cars are fuel efficient, they're safe, and he's doing well. Now, could this scale? Well, the bad news, I guess the good news for Jay Rogers, is he's now got competitors. Now, bike lanes are a great start. This is a no-brainer. I mean, we just have to have more bike lanes. But then you start to apply the internet to cycling, and you get all kinds of intelligent cycling systems that can really make a real difference. These exist now in Europe. The car is changing too. It's becoming an open platform. It ought to be like an Android mobile device where people can build apps for the car. And we're in the early days of that starting to happen. Do you know about GetAround? This was launched today. It's a company where from your mobile device, you stick a little thing on your dashboard and you can rent your car to other people. Now everyone's thinking, oh my God, I'd never do that. They're going to crash it or something. Along with the mobile device comes a complete insurance policy with no deductible that covers you totally. Imagine, you know, if we could start to get people sharing automobiles. Now, we've had some initial steps with that, of course, but perhaps this is the next stage. Do you know about IntelliOne? This is a company that triangulates the location of all cell phones and determines their direction and speed of movement. So it knows the speed of every car in any locality. So you can do all these things like, give me the 4 best routes to go home, tell me the exact number of minutes it will take me to get home, and I'm going to select this route, and by the way, if there's any disruption, I want to be rerouted instantly. This is about using the existing automobile and all of its problems to rapidly reduce carbon and energy use. Now, I was involved in something. I co-launched the ITS Challenge. $50,000 in prizes from IBM, and we challenged the software and technology companies of the United States to come up with the best solution to solving the traffic problem. We got 60 submissions, and a crowd of thousands of people selected these down to the top 10, the top 3, and a winner was announced at the Intelligent Transportation Systems Congress in Sweden. This is the use of mass collaboration to address this problem. So I was going to say just one other thing here on the city. I mean, the old model is a bit of a mess. And it's not just these megacities like Mexico that are becoming pretty much dysfunctional, Mexico City, but Atlanta. You go downtown in many American cities at night, some Canadian cities, and it's actually dangerous. And Jane Jacobs, of course, warned us. She said, the end of the Second World War, don't have urban sprawl. Don't separate where you work and where you live and where you shop. Because A, you're going to connect all these through roads that are going to become highways, and that's a big problem. But more, they're going to alienate people, and you won't have density. And you need density to have communities. Because when you have density, people take responsibility. Something weird happens on the street, you do something about it. So there are all kinds of exciting new models of the city that are starting to emerge. Toronto could learn so much from this. And they're basically based on a new communications medium. They're cities not for an industrial age, but for an age of networked intelligence. So on Joe, for example, every new building has a Cisco telepresence center. Now that's cool for Cisco, but setting aside that, you know what? If you have telepresence, this is me giving a speech. You see the people on the other side of the table? They're actually not there. They're in 6 cities all around the world. And I'm looking them straight in the eye, and we're having a meeting. And after about an hour, you forget that they're not in the room. We don't have to be moving our atoms around. We can move our bits instead. I'm working with a few cities now and reinventing the city to create intelligent cities. And these are the 10 dimensions of change where the internet can transform a city. And for each of these dimensions, what we're doing is we're holding challenges, digital brainstorms, electronic town hall meetings, wikis, and a number of other techniques to engage the population of the city in rethinking itself. How cool if we did that in Toronto. Wouldn't it be wonderful? I mean, those people from the city here, I mean, I'll volunteer. I'd love to spend some time where my house is. So let me close with a thought. You know what? What I just described to you is a new paradigm. And when you get a new paradigm, a paradigm's a mental model, and paradigms put boundaries around what we think. They constrain our actions, and they're often based on assumptions that are so strong that we don't know that they're there. The Earth is at the center of the universe. The big problem in the world is communism. Remember that one? The purpose of computing is to automate existing business processes with the goal of reducing headcount. You know, in 1981, I wrote a book that nobody read that argued that computers were going to become a communications tool. Actually, my mom read the book, and she bought volume. Thank you, Mom. But when you get a paradigm shift, these things cause dislocation and conflict and uncertainty. They're often received with coolness or worse, and vested interests fight against change, and the leaders of an old paradigm are the last to embrace the new. How are we going to protect this fragile planet? How are we going to advance our city and make it a better city with an atmosphere that can sustain us and that can enable us to thrive? Well, you know what? Leadership typically doesn't come from the top. It doesn't come typically from heads of states or mayors or corporate CEOs even. Leadership is now coming from all over the place. This is an age where people can now participate in society and in the economy in fundamentally new ways. You can not only read the encyclopedia, you can create one. You can not only watch the evening news, you can produce it. You can not only be you don't need to be a victim of climate change. You can be a participant in the transformation of our atmosphere. What an unbelievable time to be alive. You know, this is a time of great danger, but it is a time of great opportunity. When all is said, we got door number 1 and door number 2. I wonder which way Toronto will go. Will we take door number 1 and the old thinking about climate change, it's kind of this tree hugger thing with all these weirdos and everything, or will we understand that this is the thinking around climate change and the transformation of our atmosphere is at the heart of the transformation of our economy, of economic and social development, and creating a sustainable world? We can take door number 2 if we want. And it's really in our hands. You know, there was a French pilot from the Second World War. His name was Saint-Exupéry. He says, we should welcome the future, for soon it will be the past, but we should respect the past, for it was once all that was humanly possible. You know what? It's humanly possible to go forward. And another Frenchman, Victor Hugo, said there's nothing so powerful as an idea whose time has come. The time has come to protect this planet. The time has come for us to move to a new kind of economy in a new age. And hopefully the time has come for each of you to find that leader within you, to change your organization, to change this city, and in doing so, to change the world. Thank you.